So let me talk about that third question. How do we get there from here? To move towards a lower carbon economy, and I think we all desire that, we need to progress on a number of fronts. And I'll just highlight three here as I wind up my comments. The biggest opportunity for reducing footprint is around energy management and conservation, whether that be at the point of production or at the point of consumption, whereas we as customers are using it. That's why you'll see some different practices from ourselves as the years have gone on. We took the step last year of publicly putting our environmental performance goals out there so that it's clearly visible what we are attempting to do and can be held to account on for water, air, and land disturbance. We also continue to invest a massive amount in researching, developing, and applying new technologies, including efforts to make carbon capture and storage commercially viable. I do agree with the previous numbers. You probably need north of $100 a ton of CO2 to make it work, which is way beyond where we are at the moment. And of course, in the end, that's paid by the customer, so we have to find a way of that bill being picked up. If anyone doubts the ability of industry to drive positive change, let me give you another one to consider. And that's the new tailings technology, which as a company and as an industry, we are starting to implement. This year we will we'll be putting it into a commercial scale facility. Now, as many of you may know, and for those who don't, mine tailings are the mostly liquid waste byproduct from the extraction process. The sheer volume of these tailings and the difficulty in getting them to solidify has meant that we have massive storage of those materials. They can often take 50 or 100 or years or even longer to settle. And quite frankly, the ponds are big, they're unsightly, they're difficult to reclaim, and not surprisingly, they've become a lightning rod for some of the criticism the industry takes. There's been a massive research and development, and a new way to dry and solidify the tailings has currently been developed, and it's going to enable a couple of things to happen. First of all, it's going to enable us to get rid of these backlog and unsightly ponds we have. And secondly, it's going to take away the need to have these long-term ponds which haven't been capable of reclamation. So as I say, this year we will reclaim the first tailings pond in the industry. We'll spend $500 million on commercially applying the new technology, and literally it will change the game for the mining of oil sands. So instead of this 30, 50 or 100 years, we can have these mines developed and returned, reclaimed in about a 10-year time frame. Now, that technology came by investing in technology, by focusing on the solutions, and I think there's similar progress to come. A second key pathway is through greater collaboration. And a prime example of that is something that's called the Oil Sands Leadership Initiative, which it's an industry coalition. It encourages real big thinking, so it's about the 20 projects in there at the moment, and it's asking questions like, how can we achieve a zero carbon footprint from oil sands? Can we have waterless extraction? And as I say, it's an industry-based group making progress. We're asking for help. We've asked academics, we've asked First Nations, we've asked environmental advocates, and we've asked government to join us in that enterprise. And we're getting a take-up on it forward. So in Alberta, both the energy and environment ministers have been strongly supporting it. And I think we'll see more of these breakthroughs like tailings. And that takes me to the third pathway, which I think is around public policy. So as I say, I think there was an opportunity from Copenhagen that we can take up on. The door is open for countries to innovate within their own borders and set goals. Whether that be setting targets around renewable or investing in new technologies or reducing carbon footprint. In the Canadian context, I think that ties well with what a lot of industry has been advocating. The need for, and Steve sort of referenced it, a national sustainable energy strategy. And some pieces of that would be, don't just look at the next 10 years, but look at the next 20 and 50 years in terms of determining the mix of proven and potential energy sources, draw up that roadmap, get some targets and some goals in there around greenhouse gas emissions. And then it would be an integral part of that strategy about how energy is both produced and, as importantly, is consumed. Because one of the inconvenient truths is that consumption has a major part to play in here. So improved vehicle efficiency, better building construction standards, more mass transportation solutions. And in that way, you can get a sound energy strategy that would be, in a large part, would become a climate change strategy as well. When it comes to cap and trade or other carbon taxes, I'm personally largely agnostic. I think both have puts and takes to them. And we just need to make sure that they don't have unintended consequences as we think of ways of introducing it. So in conclusion, let me just recap a couple of themes. We have here in Canada an absolutely unrivaled energy resource base, or at least unrivaled in the political and economically free world. We have in oil sands, because Canadians demand it, a track record of continuous environmental improvement, actually matched by few around the world, and we should be proud of that, and we don't demonstrate that very often. And if any of the other primary, particularly oil sources, could match this, it would be an interesting comparison. And that resource makes a massive economic contribution that provides benefit to Canada and North America today, and can help drive that investment in alternate technology. So I think it will take innovation. I think it will take further collaboration. It will take that sound public policy. But I think it's a challenge and an opportunity that we as an industry and as a country are up for. Thank you.